Hey guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and in today's video we are of course going to be looking at the new Hero's Path for the Soul for EOSTRID Dreamsong. Now we have become accustomed to having follow-up events to the fusion where we can get this 5-star Soul. We had a Titan event for, I believe, Armand's, and then we had a Titan event for Rathalos, which was kind of not a fusion, but it was there. And we've had like Heroes Paths with these 5-star Souls as well. So we've got another one, and this one is for EOSTRID Dreamsong. Now, of course, the question always will become, should you go for the Soul? Is the Soul worth it? We'll answer that towards the end of the video. We're going to first focus on the path itself. The way that these hero paths work, you choose the path you want to go down, but normally you're going to have to go down a very specific path to get what you want out of the path. Now, you might not want the Soul. If so, you can go for something like the Epic Book. There's some oil available, which might prove to be quite handy. There are mythical skill tomes right at the bottom, but they tend to be quite expensive. So unless you're really desperate for mythical skill tomes, I would generally not worry about those. The Soul, thankfully, is only in the middle, so you don't even need event keys, because sometimes you need to go get the key to unlock another branch of the path. Now, the Hero's Path is always made up of 2 or 3 components. In this Hero's Path, it's going to be champion training and summoning Soulstones. Now, summoning Soulstones, like shards, generally means it's more of a summon rush, so you want to get to the Sacred Shard, which is the Eternal Soulstone here. The higher the quality of the stone, the more points you're going to get. Leveling up champions is like a typical champion training event or tournament, but they have different point scoring here. So we're going to look in this video at exactly how much energy and how much training you're going to need to do to be able to get the Soul if you want to. So let's just take a quick look at the path here. Like I mentioned, you can go down the left or the right hand path. It doesn't really matter. I'd suggest probably the energy is a little bit better. Then you're going to get these mythical charms in the middle. Then you're going to go down one of the left or the right. It really depends what you want. Do you value the eternal essence more than the immortal essence? It's up to you, really. The cost is the same. And then we are going to have EOSTRID Dreamsong here at 50,000. Now, just a small note, before I recorded this video, originally the 12,500 for this mythical Chaos Ore was actually 12,500 for the 6-star legendary Chaos Ore, but they changed it. So if you see videos from other content creators talking about that misalignment, they changed it pretty quickly when it came out so that it was even. If you don't want the Soul, you have to go down and get an event key to get any of the legendary books that you would want, which means going down either the left or the right hand path. The path point requirements are the same. You need the same amount of coins. It doesn't really matter which one you go down. It just depends if you want more accessory oil or whether you want more chaos dust. It's up to you. The process is pretty simple. Summon stones, train champions, that will earn you coins. You then exchange coins to go down the path, and then you get the Soul here. So let's do a math breakdown now. Let's have a look at how much energy are you going to need to spend, because predominantly you're going to be doing training here. The Soulstones, unless you're going to spend, is going to be very difficult to do. So if you've seen any of my previous Hero Path breakdowns or Deck of Fate breakdowns, I normally create a spreadsheet which kind of pulls all the rewards in, all the different coin requirements, and then structures it in a way where we have predisposed paths that you might want to go down. I always try to pick 3 to 4 paths that you will want depending on where you are in the game. Maybe you don't want the Soul, maybe you just want a legendary book. Maybe you want the Soul, maybe you want the Soul and a legendary book. These kind of concepts come into play. So first thing first is to basically map out all the rewards. I've kind of structured it based on a Soul path, and when it's like on the left is path 1 and on the right is path 2. So we can see the total requirements here is about 187,000 points. And I've made 3 paths this time. Not 5, we have 3 paths because it's quite a straightforward and simple Hero's Path, this one. To get the Soul, it's going to cost you 73,500. Why? Because we're going to have to go through first part here. Then we're going to have to get the Mythical Charms, Immortal Essence, Mythical Chaos Ore, EOSTRID Soul. You can do the other one. It doesn't really matter if you want to go the Legendary Chaos Ore and Eternal Essence, but it's still going to cost you 73,500 for the 5-star Soul. If you want a legendary book, it's 27,550, and if you want 2 of the legendary books, it's 55,550. So the most simplest and straightforward math to do is the Eternal Stones. They haven't changed the point allocations. You still get 7,500, 1,500, and 100, depending on the tier of the stone. These are the same as they have been in the previous Soul Summoning events for this type. So we can see that basically we're going to need 10 Eternal Soul Stones in order to get the required coins for the Hero Soul, or 49 Immortal. This is why I said you're probably going to do a little bit of a Soul Summoning and the majority in training, because this is just too expensive. Nobody's really sitting on Eternal Soul Stones if you haven't spent a lot of money. In terms of price tags, I always like to do a little bit of a realistic, not so much a realistic, but a real world valuation when it comes to Soulstones. So if I was to buy these 49 Soulstones, how much that equate to in spending. And this is the rough price point for each stone. It's about $3.50 for an Immortal, $1 for Immortal, and $25 for an Eternal. So you're looking at somewhere between $158 to $226 for Immortal or Eternal for the Soul. Just to give you a bit of an analysis as to whether or not it's worth it. It's not really relevant if you're not a spender anyway, but it's kind of interesting to see how much they price a Soul currently, which is about $150 to $220, which arguably a lot of people would say that's about the price of a whole champion. Now, in terms of training, the way that we go through this process, you get points for ranking up and you get points for leveling up. So we basically include some partial leveling here, which is, so we take our rank 3s to level 10, rank 4s to level 15, and rank 5s to level 21, and then any rank 6s to level 30. That gives you some points which you will gain before you feed those champions. Then we will also count the amount of levels to make them up to their maximum levels, which is like 39, 29, 19, to get some bonus points and the rank up. And what we do is we set up 2 ways that you do champion training. You either do it through leveling food, which is making rank 5 champions, or you do it by leveling champions, which is making rank 6 champions. So either I'm making food for a future upcoming champion training event, or I'm going to be making some new champions to add to my roster. Typically speaking, it's more cost effective in terms of energy to make rank 5 chickens than it is to make rank 6 champions, typically. But it's not the end of the world if you want to do it by making rank 6 champions. Sometimes we also will get Dungeon Diver contribution, which you can do in campaign. We haven't got it this time, so it's been nullified. This template I use for when there's Dungeon Divers as well. Often at times you can do campaign to do leveling and get some bonus Dungeon Diver points with Hero's Path. We don't have that in this one. So unfortunately, that is out of the question. So all we are doing is basically running the campaign, and we can work out the energy requirements on the left here. It basically kind of calculates how many rank 3s do you need to make a rank 4 to rank 5, and we go from a rank 2. So we're basically making everything from a rank 2 upwards. I don't really include rank 1s because that's a bit too detailed. So it's kind of like how many rank 2s to make a rank 3, to make a rank 4, to make a rank 5, etc. So it roughly works out you need about 3.5 million XP to go from rank 2 to rank 5, and you need about 20.8 million XP to go from rank 2 to rank 6. And then we can run that against lots of different XP charts to basically work out the math. There are bonuses you can add here, which is the raid card that will adjust the amount of XP and energy you need. But what it works out is to do the soul path, you need 73,500 points, which means you're going to need to make 2.69 rank 6s or 13.71 rank 5s. Obviously, you can't make half a champion. This is just the numerical average. So what does that mean in terms of energy? So we can bring it into this analysis spreadsheet here, and we can see that, okay, we need 73,500. If we were to do it exclusively through training, it's going to be 2.69, that's 17,000 energy, or 15,000 energy for the rank 2 to rank 5s. So that's what I was saying, that making rank 5s is cheaper. It's going to save you about 2,500 energy. Now that's doing Brutal 12.3. If you do Nightmare 12.6, you will save yourself some energy. It goes to 15.3 and 13.3 down here. Now, of course, as well, you can enable your raid card if you have it. That will basically save you another 2,000 energy. So it works out roughly. If you do a little bit of Hydra, you probably are sitting on about 40 stones, because you'll get the Hydra, you'll get the Iron Twins, something like that. I'm sitting on about 23 myself. Maybe you've got a couple of Immortal. It's going to be around about 10,000 energy. That is how much energy it will cost you to get the soul. So you really need to decide right now, do you want to do 10,000 worth of training? Do you need to do it? And do you want to do it to get a 5-star soul? If your plan is to use this hero, this champion in Hydra, then it's probably worth it because you're going to use the champion. If you're going to collect EOSTRID and not have an immediate plan, I would question whether or not you want to do it. So that is the math breakdown. I will put this spreadsheet in the description and the pinned comment. You can make a copy of it because I'll put it into the Google Sheets. And there is a helpful calculator here where you can basically say, I've got like 2 Eternal Soulstones, 5 Immortal, and 40 Immortal. How much energy do I need? So you can basically work out the excess training you need to do. Now, just briefly before we finish this bit, there is a path to get Legendary Books and 2 Legendary Books. They're about consistent with other hero paths. It's 27,550. So if you wanted to pick up a spare Legendary Book, you could do so as well. That's only going to cost you about 4,000 energy, which is not too bad. That's a little bit better, especially when you offset it against maybe a few Mortal Soulstones. You can change the drop down here to basically put it against the Legendary Book. You can see that's only going to cost you about 3,000 on Nightmare 12.6 or about 3,500. So you could probably get yourself a spare legendary book if you still need to do a bit of champion training, if you need to get something prepared for the current Cintranos rotation. So just before we get into the rest of this, apparently it is National Laundry Day. I would really, whoever is in charge of coming up with these or finding these day events in Plarium, they need a bonus, because to find National Laundry Day and make an in-game marketable event that I can then sell silver pack to is peak marketing genius. Congratulations, Plarium. You can buy a really terrible silver pack for $80. No, thank you. What it does mean, though, is National Laundry Day is giving you a 1-day free regearing event. We probably won't turn on premium features because by the time it's up and running, it's too late. So we probably won't do that for the 1 day. We will enable it for the next Cintranos free regearing event, which I think will be in about 3 weeks now. I think it will be. It's towards the end of the rotation now. This apparently doesn't affect the plan either. This is just a one-off because apparently someone thought it was quite fun to have National Laundry Day. But there you go. So just the final thing to ask then is EOSTRID worth a 5-star soul? And if you got it, what blessing would you recommend? Well, she does attack twice, but she only hits once. So a low 1-star blessing wouldn't be very good for Brimstone. At 5-star, she would get a much better chance, although it's still not 100%. But she does attack and she does require accuracy, so she would benefit from a 5-star Brimstone. You would also be able to benefit from a 5-star blessing if you're using her in arena for the intimidating presence, which is quite strong. You could also use something like temporal chains, which gets a little bit stronger at 5-star as well. 5-star is the important factor when it comes to support-based champions, because they're more dependent and they're more subjective to the actual blessing effect. When it comes to damage dealers, 4-star is the big deal, because you actually want the damage stats. You want attack, you want crit damage. The 5-star bonus is not so important. When it comes to support champions like Armands, like EOSTRID, this blessing bonus and the accuracy that you would get from 5-star is very powerful. For example, you could pick temporal chains if you wanted to on your EOSTRID. That would give you a 2% boost. That's a significant increase in strength. You could take something like a presence or a hit. Again, it's doubling the bonus between 3 and 5. So the 5-star is really powerful at this point. The Brimstone becomes a 60% instead of 30%. It's very powerful. I would suggest that Polymorph is not bad, but really up until about 6-star, it's still pretty difficult. But for her specifically, if you were to use her in arena, she needs accuracy anyway if you want to land the debuffs. So then it would be good. But if you plan on using it just as a speed boost and not using the A2 in arena, then it's a bit of a waste to go polymorph because you need the accuracy still. You could even, if you want to, run her as cruelty, which is then going to put her up to a 15% instead of a 10%. So you can see the 5-star bonus is very good. So is she worth it? If you plan to put her in one of your Hydra teams immediately, then yes, this soul is worth it if you're going to put her into one of your Hydra teams immediately. If you're not going to put her into it, like me, she doesn't really fit into any of my teams right now. It's not that I probably won't ever use her, but she's not an immediate usage. The interest for me personally is a lot less because it's quite a significant grind. So that's the decision you need to make. Is it worth the effort right now to go get the soul? Yes, it's difficult to get a 5-star soul, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get it on her as a support champion. You will be able to get, like, you know, a 1-star soul will be serviceable for a while for her. So that is the hero's path. There's also a prism system going on. I expected this last week and it's coming today instead for a Falmond Mornsword summoning portal. It's a 6% chance with 30. There's a free one on top of the Sand Devil tournament. It's probably worth giving it a go. He is very strong as a single target nuker if you set him up correctly. Very good with Cardiel specifically. Extremely strong because of the way that he will, instead of using this ability, use this ability. So if you set him up right, he's very powerful. He might be difficult to enable and not so good for live arena because people are just going to ban him, or you'll ban, or if you don't pick enough Sacred Order, they'll ban you out of the unity. It's the only downside with these faction unities. You need all 3 of them. Well, if you need all 3 of them, they're so easy to ban to break that unity bonus. So it's a little bit of an issue in live arena, but classic and tag team, very good and could be very cool for different content pieces as well. He can solo a lot of content with his A1, getting a lot of shield in. Very powerful champion. So I'll probably, get a few prisms. I'll probably do the Sand Devil and see if I can sneak that one there. There you go, guys. Let me know about the hero's path. What do you think? It's pretty much a straightforward and basic hero's path this time. I'm kind of on the fence. I don't really feel like I want to go for it, so I'm probably going to lean on the side of not doing it. I'm still traumatized from the Alatree and Hero's Path. That really killed me doing that one. So, but it's not too bad. It is still quite a lot of energy. It's still 10,000 energy. Let me know in the comments below what you think, guys. And as always, I will be streaming tonight on YouTube around about 8 p.m. UK time. If you want to come hang out, we'll talk further about it, about the soul, about the Hero's Path, to see what's going on. And yeah, we'll see you then. I do have to do a Hydra key, so that will be fun. But there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.